So here we are. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Power Years. I'm so happy that you are here with us today or in the future. And as always, I'm joined by the amazing Katharina. And today's topic touches every part of life and leadership. And we called it Find and Align with Your Three Core Values. I mean, you could have more or less, but we said three. You know, for a long time, I thought I was living by my values until life started testing them. And that's when I realized something powerful that we often believe we know our values. I didn't even think about values until our daily choices start to tell us another story. So today we will talk about how to reconnect with what truly matters and the values that keep us grounded, clear, and fulfilled even in seasons of change. So, welcome, Katharina.
Thank you so much, Helene. Happy to be here. Yeah, this is a wonderful subject.
I think that's one also we connected with, actually, when we started talking, because how many people start, what are your core values? But ask each other.
It's a great conversation piece. And I think most people honestly don't know. They might say, well, it's money or it's success. Well, those are core values in their own way, but are they guiding lights for you? Are they going to help you make decisions in every area of your life? So, yeah, of
So, I'm going to ask you a question, if I
yeah,
may.
course.
What do you believe happens when we live out of alignment with our core values?
Well, in my own experience, I went for, I think, almost 20 years looking for something, looking for I didn't know what it was exactly, but looking for myself, looking for I can call it now a driving purpose, a compelling vision, but basically looking for my core values. And in one day, I found them. And it changed the trajectory of my whole life, my work, my business, everything. And I was on fire. I'm still on fire with the same three core values, and they are truth, greatness, and vision. So, what happens when you're not aligned? Well, you're lost because you don't really know who you are and what your life is really about.
Mm.
So you're just drifting. Even if you've got a super job, well, it's well paid, you've got amazing family, you can feel lonely, you can feel lost, you can feel misaligned, especially if you're working in the corporate world and their core values are completely different from yours. Yeah, exactly, Helene. So that's what I would say that, if you don't have your core values, you probably, no matter where you are in life, you're probably going to feel lost and you're probably going to feel that your life is meaningless in some way and purposeless and without a vision, without a compelling vision. So you don't really know where you're going either.
No.
So that's what I would say. And it affects your health, your relationships, especially the relationship you have with yourself. Number one, all your relationships, your health, your finances, your business, your bank account, everything is affected by your core values or not. No core values.
Yeah, and a lot of people that I meet, and you have probably also met, that you know they might be having burnout. That could be one of the things that they're actually not aligned with their core values.
Yes, absolutely.
And do
Yes.
you have
And
any example from your own life, moments where you know success didn't feel right
Yeah,
until, because you said you found your values, but
it hasn't always been like that, right? Yeah.
no.
So yes, Helene, actually I had my own therapy center in Helsingborg. I had a lot of clients. I was living with my two wonderful sons. Anybody would have thought it would have been an ideal situation. And I actually was very happy, but was I fulfilled? No. Was I really on the right track? No. Did I have a great relationship with myself? No, not really. No. And if I don't have a great relationship with myself, I don't have a great relationship with anybody else either,
Mm.
even my own sons. So then I went to Stockholm, and I was very successful as a psychotherapy, but underneath I was angry because by that time I had found my three core values, which are truth, greatness, and vision. And I wanted to do the entrepreneurial blueprint consultation, and I wanted to do it with everyone. What's your truth? What's your, you know, how are you in integrity? What's your authenticity? What's your driving purpose? What's your vision? Because I think the world would look very, very different if we were aligned with our core values. There would not be wars. There would not be ill health. There would not be disease. There would not be uh, anxiety, fear. There would not be such healthy competition, but not a competition that you just want to knock your partners out or a competition out. There would not be hatred. Why? Because everybody would be thriving. Too busy living their awesome, thriving lives.
Yeah. And just to tell all the people that are here that, you know, your core values are not going to be found outside. And what is right for one person doesn't necessarily have to be right for the other person, and there's not no right and wrong. I mean, if, even in your family, you don't have to have the same core values because, you know, we can respect each other's. And when I now know that honesty is one of your core values, I mean, okay, I would probably avoid, not being honest to you because that would really, but for some people, it's okay. I'm not telling a lie if I'm not telling you everything. For me, again, because honesty for me too, no, tell me. I'll have to deal if I'm going to get angry and this and whatever. Just tell me, and be honest with me, whatever that is, because I'll have to deal with that. But that's for me. And so we have the next question. How can we identify our true core values beyond what we think they should be? So, like what I said now. And I love this question because so often our values are shaped by others, by your family, culture, or even what we think is expected, because that expected could be there. So,
Yeah.
Katharina, from your work and experience, how do we go deeper to uncover the real ones for me, the values that are truly our own, not borrowed or learned? And I will share three afterwards.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you. And I just also want to state just what you mentioned. If we're not aligned with our core values, we are naturally aligned with somebody else's, our parents, our schools, our jobs, and they are not our core values. So we're like a fish out of water. Yeah, that's how
That's good. Fish out of water. And that's a little bit difficult because then we can't survive.
like can't breathe properly. Yeah, because I'm not in my proper environment. I'm not in my core values. Okay, so I have a little tip for everyone. I'm going to go through 18 core values. And I'd
Wow.
like you just take a piece of paper now, and you can always go back to this recording later. But right now, if you're listening right now, take a paper and pen and just write 0 if this is not your core value, and write up to a number up to the number 10 if it is. So it could be a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? So the first one is truth. Write your number. The second one is integrity, courage, love,
I'm going to write them here while you say. So truth and then?
truth, and then integrity, courage, love, vision, greatness, freedom, growth, contribution, presence, balance, equality,
Presence, balance.
presence, balance,
Yeah.
yes,
Equality.
equality, justice, rhythm,
Rhythm.
yes, rhythm, harmony. There are scientists who say that everything is rhythm. You know, the whole universe is in rhythm. The whole planet is in rhythm. The whole universe after universe is in rhythm. So, beauty, joy, clarity, creativity.
Clarity.
Great. So rhythm would be, it sounds as if it's kind of odd there, but for musicians, it's absolutely essential. And that might be their core value, might not. So look at your list and just find those that are nearest 10. They could be close. I'm not saying this is it, but just be exploring. Just be like Helene, be curious. Oh yeah, Helene, what are your core values?
My core values is honesty, or are, trust, and curiosity.
Beautiful.
And so we will share that down in the comments below, so you can go through it afterwards. So I have 3 steps that I will share, how to identify your true core values. And these go hand in hand, of course, with Katharina, what she said. So notice what lights you up and what drains you.
Mm.
Because, so those words there, your emotions are messengers. When someone or something, not someone, something energizes or frustrates you deeply, it's often connected to a core value being honored or violated. So those words that she said there, check them. How do they feel? And, does it light you up or does it drain you? And then number 2, and we will drop this in the comments later on too, reflect on your defining moments. That's why being present is very, very important. Look back at a time when you felt proud, fulfilled, and or at peace. And then you can look at those words that Katharina shared. What values were present? For example, she said, you said growth, freedom, or connection or authenticity. It could be whatever, but just see which of these words were present. And then number 3, test them in real life. Ask yourself, if I had to choose, because how many you gave us? 10?
18.
18, okay, even more. If I had to choose, because you can, shorten them down between this and that, which aligns more with who I truly am, not what other people expect you to be or anything. No, what I truly, so start with the 18, between this and this, which one is, truly who I am. And true values hold steady even when life tests you. They're not just words, because they could be words. Freedom sounds so amazing, but that's not one of my, I love that word. I love freedom, but it's not one of my core values. They're not just words, they guide your choices. And sometimes we find that out later. So trust is one of the words that is my core value. And the more I reflect on it, it's that I trust the divine, what God has thought for me. Yes, it's more than trust, because when my son was sick, I mean, I had to trust it. I didn't know, is he going to live or not? But I trusted more than, because a doctor couldn't 100%. I mean, it's not, oh yeah, I'm going to cure him. No, he couldn't tell me that. Nothing could tell me that. So the more I reflect on that, that trust is something from inside. I trust, even when it's something great or something, but that's my rock. That is my rock. So
Beautiful.
I'm so happy that I have core values that I can really reflect on more. So let's go to this. What are practical ways to realign daily life and decisions with our top three values? What do you?
Well, first of all,
Yeah.
it's important to connect your three core values with yourself. For example, okay, so mine are truth, greatness, and vision. So, truth for me, everything I do, everything, all my work, all my life needs to be rooted in truth. It's what I call my root core value. And my friendships need to be rooted in truth. And if they're not, then I may love that person, I may like that person, but I will not be friends with them if our relationship is not rooted in truth.
Mm.
So then maybe you could take another one. For example, my soul core value is greatness, and it's I don't feel arrogant about that. I know that, humbly, you have greatness in you, Helene. Everybody I meet, everybody I know has greatness in them. Whether they've discovered it or not, they've got it within them, because nobody's better than anybody
No.
else. Everybody has this greatness. So it's very humbling to own your greatness and give it to the world. So that's my soul core value. And then vision, I have a compelling vision. It keeps me focused. It helps me make decisions, snap decisions very, very quickly, because it either aligns with my core values or it doesn't.
Mm.
So you can do the same. Pick your three core values that are the closest to you. Now, another point I want to say is that the core values you had as a child, because everybody has core values, may not be the same as you have now. They change. And sometimes they grow, they become bigger, they become more universal. They become, this is not just about me, it's about the whole world, it's about the universe. So if I go right back, I know that as a child, truth was very important. I know that beauty was important to me. I know that as a teenager and in my 20s, freedom was a word I used a lot talking to boyfriends. It's like, freedom, and they called me a free spirit, because I wasn't looking for a man to, take care of me. I was too young anyway. So, so truth, beauty, and freedom. But it was more like, more like not a true core value, but beauty. How can I make myself beautiful as well? And that's still a core value, but it's not it's not my my three core values.
And maybe beauty for you today is different than how you saw it when you were younger.
Absolutely. It's more when when I look in the eyes of a horse on a movie. Now, horses know they're in the movie, right? So they are most authentic beings on the movie, right? And their eyes are so deep, they're soul deep. You know, you can see the pain, you can see the love in a horse's eyes, you can see it in a child's eyes. So for me, that is beauty today. Somebody who has spirit, who has soul, who I connect with. That's, yeah, it's a different kind of beauty. Before it was, what kind of clothes do you wear? You know, what kind of colors do you wear? What your makeup, etc.
But definitely, I mean, some like honesty, that came from my upbringing because my mom always said, just be honest. It doesn't matter,
Beautiful.
you know, don't be afraid to come and tell me. So it was always, and that is also because she said that she never got angry. She would, maybe tell me things because I had to trust her that she would actually be honest. And that's very, and hold that, you have to be accountable for what you say to a child. Otherwise, maybe I would not have told her, all the truth, because that's what a lot of younger children do. Because if their parents will get angry with them,
Yeah.
I mean, do I really want to tell my parents afterwards? Maybe not. But
Maybe.
honesty for me is that. But then again, what I do, I sit and like trust. Yes, I looked at that the other day when something happened, and then I got to a deeper level. Yes, it's really, really, really that I trust, even when it shakes, even when I feel, it's uncertainty, but then I trust even more. So, we can learn different ways in our life how we see things, and then practice it. I mean, you have to practice it all the time, and then feel into something. If something feels not right, I journal a lot, so I will sit and journal. What is that, and ask, maybe I don't have the answer just then, but it will come back. Yes, it is, because this is being compromised. So these are all the words that Katarina said before. We will put them in
Oh,
the.
beautiful. Wow. You type quickly.
Yeah, they were. I mean, I was trying how I tried to put them in long, but that's not going to. That's my little perfectionist that is coming in. I wanted it to be in a long line, but no. Hello, Helen. It doesn't fit.
Beautiful. It's perfect. Wonderful. Yeah.
So,
Thank you for doing that.
so these are. There are of course more values too, but and this is what I find with people, how to choose. Because I remember many years ago, then we had this too when we were doing an exercise, maybe when I was working in corporate, to find the values. And I didn't sit there, okay, between truth and integrity, because they're almost the same.
Yeah.
Which one, if I can only choose one, which one do I choose?
Mm.
Then between courage and love, where, so then you shorten it down. So I usually advise people, have a list, then take them down to 5, and then from these 5 just feel into it, and then maybe you get 3, and 3 is good, and then maybe from these 3 you will have 1 that there is no way that you compromise on anything.
Beautiful.
Because we live a life in so much more ease and joy when we are true to our own core values and we don't compromise on it. And that's also when we go and find a job, like you said, maybe, in that company, they have certain core values. And if they go totally against your own, then you're not going to be happy there, even with the money and whatever you get. I mean, it's the best job ever, but if the core values are compromised, believe you me, I've been there, and that is, you might not know. So it's really a good practice, I believe, to do this exercise and find out. And I know Katharina can help with it. I can help with it. We do it in a different way, but you will still find how, because sometimes maybe we need to talk to someone about it. It's not just a word, like we said, it's something, deep. So you might need to speak with someone to find your core values.
Yeah. So I would say a call to action. If you would like to work with Helene or you would like to work with me, write core values in the comment bar and contact us. And you can write Helene or you can write Katharina, and we won't mind. and and then we'll help you find your core values.
Mm. And it's such a joy when we live through our core values, and it will help us with love ourselves more, with our relationship, at work, with everything. So
Yeah.
what I love about this conversation is that it reminds us, it reminds me and you, I think, happiness and success both start with alignment. When you know your values, decisions become clearer and relationship become healthier and life feels more yours.
Absolutely.
So what do you want to leave the listeners with before we end today,
Well,
Katharina?
I'd like to talk to entrepreneurs. I'd like to talk to people who work in teams, because your team needs to have people with different skills, of course. So, for example, one can have visionary skills, one can have strategic skills, one can have marketing skills, and then it's a perfect triad. But you need to have the same core values. And if you don't, and no matter how successful this person is, no matter how endearing they are, don't work with them. Don't, because your team is not going to go anywhere. But if you all have this very similar, like
Similar.
integrity, truth, and honesty, it's about the same thing.
Mm.
You can count as the same thing. But if they're very, very different, and if there's a lack of integrity, don't work with that person. Or
Mm.
if you feel drained around them, don't work with that person. And I'm not saying just work with people you like. I'm saying work with people who are aligned with
Yeah, it's so important with that alignment
you. Yes.
and be able to voice it, because we don't have to be friends with everyone. We don't have to work with
Yeah,
everyone. But when we can say our values and introduce ourselves with them, yeah, then the other person, yeah, I can do that. And that's how Katarina and I met. And when we heard honesty was one, yeah, that really aligns us.
wonderful.
So I'm so happy to have spoken about this with you today, Katarina.
Thank
And,
you.
write in there or DM us and we can help you if. And it's nothing wrong that, we don't know our core values. They're different than brand values. Of course, when you start your business, but it's still, it could, your core values should go before anything else. I believe. So thank you so much, Katarina, for
You, Helen.
this conversation. And we will have more conversations, maybe about our strength next time.
Absolutely. And just one last tip to people: don't say to someone, "I don't like you." I mean, children can do that. That's fine. It's honest. It's truthful. But to say to someone, "I just don't feel aligned with you," is much more diplomatic. Or we're not quite like-minded
Mhm.
is much more diplomatic. And that's okay. As Helene says, we don't have to like everybody or love everybody.
No. So on that note, thank you everyone for listening. And we will see you soon again.
See you next week.